Welcome to the bad news in God's new covenant. I can pretty much guarantee you that the bad news I'm about to share, you probably don't want to hear. It is not proclaimed in Christian churches today. Let's start by establishing what very few seem to understand, that being how God's new covenant will really affects you. The first piece of bad news is, though it is God's new covenant will that he reconcile you to himself through the faith of his Son, for that to happen, you have to die. And he who does not take up his cross and follow after me is not worthy of me. He who has found his life will lose it, and he who has lost his life for my sake will find it. For whoever wishes to save his life will lose it. But whoever loses his life for my sake and the gospel's will save it. Obviously, Jesus was not speaking of a physical loss of life, but rather a loss of life that is spiritual in nature. Because you were born living according to the desires of your flesh for the pleasures and things of this world, God has to bring you to the end of yourself. That is to say, he has to cause you, as you have always seen and known you, to die. It's a complete change for the better in the way you view the life you live. Spiritually speaking, it's called the renewing of your mind. It is the proof that God's new covenant will for you, that you be reconciled to him through faith, is good, acceptable, and finished. Soon, I hope you will see why no possible religion you could belong to or religious act you could possibly do will ever make that happen. But for now, let's look at a few more reasons as to why you have to die. So you might be joined to another, to him who was raised from the dead, in order that you might bear fruit for God. How foolish! That which you sow does not come to life unless it dies. For if you are living according to the flesh, and we all are born doing so, you must die, because if you don't, the physical is already condemned to eternal death. We know that we have passed out of death unto life. The point is, you have to die. Would that really be such a great loss? The second piece of bad news is God chooses whom he uses. That is to say, you can't make the spiritual change that has to happen occur. You can't even choose to believe in God. All things have been committed to me by my Father. No one knows the Son except the Father, and no one knows the Father except the Son and those to whom the Son chooses to reveal him. And will not God bring about justice for his chosen ones who cry out to him day and night? Will he keep putting them off? Therefore, God has mercy on whom he wants to have mercy, and he hardens whom he wants to harden. One of you will say to me, then why does God still blame us? For who is able to resist his will? But who are you, O man, to question God? Shall what is formed say to the one who formed it, why did you make me like this? Does not the potter have the right to make out of the same lump of clay some pottery for special purposes and some for common use? To them God has chosen to make known among the Gentiles the glorious riches of the mystery, which is Christ in you, the hope of glory. The conclusion. So the last shall be first, and the first last. For many are called, but few are chosen. If you're hearing or seeing this presentation, make no mistake, you are being called. However, because it is he who chooses whom he uses, understand, you cannot answer the call. All you can do is listen to it, and if you feel called, cry out to the one who's calling you. We love him because he first loved us. That's why you must understand. What the good news in God's new covenant really is. He gave his life for you, so he could give his life to you, and by living his faith through you, cause your righteousness to surpass that of the Pharisees and the teachers of the law. As Christ said, it is finished. May all your praise go to God. Amen.